Hey, this is Joe.
And this is Evan.
And this is the Nonsensory podcast. On this week's episode, we discuss the new Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima trailers, and make a bet on which one will review better. We talk next gen with the arrival of Xbox Series X third-party games and first-party games to be shown soon, as well as the new Unreal Engine demo from Epic. Finally, we wade into some hype fanboy news with Animal Crossing's monster sales numbers, the announcement of a new Paper Mario, and a frickin' Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster. So stick with it.
All right, greetings and welcome to episode 7 of the Nonsensory podcast. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to us on podcast services iTunes and Spotify, as well as our YouTube channel. Just search Nonsensory. You can also follow us on Twitter at Nonsensory1 and Facebook at Nonsensory Podcast. Joe!
Evan!
How do you like the new setup, Joe?
Oh, dude, this is awesome.
Yes,
this is beautiful.
Please, everyone, drink it in. We'll continue to add to it as we go along, but I think this setup works a lot better than the last one.
Oh, yeah, it feels more comfortable. It looks more beautiful.
I've got the AC just blasting right up my butt. It feels so good. So, how's things been with you? Anything interesting happened for you this week?
So, behind the scenes...
All right, yeah, we can fill them in, I guess, yeah.
We recorded this episode already.
Yeah.
And then got screwed over.
Yeah.
We won't get too far into it, I don't think, unless you want to.
I won't mention names, specifically names of products, but yeah, we were recording and we reached the end of our show and everything was cool. And then like out of the corner of my eye, I just see like Windows close, like not Windows itself, but like, you know, like Windows of programs close. And I'm like, oh, what happened? Error message pops up. Well, hey, looks like you lost everything. And then we were sad and drank a lot of beer about it.
Yeah, that ruined our Wednesday.
So now we're back on our normal recording day on Sunday because me and the wife were out of town for a couple days, and we decided that, okay, we'll try to record on Wednesday so that we can have an episode out and stick with our schedule, thinking that we wouldn't be able to record today. But since that happened, we basically scrambled to be able to record today.
Yep.
And get an episode out.
We didn't want to go 2 weeks without putting out an episode for you guys.
Yeah.
So
the vacation was good, by the way. So that little trip did wonders, except for my legs, which are currently like 4th degree burned from the sun because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, lobster doesn't quite cover what's going on
when
there.
you get 2 bottles deep of wine and you're sitting outside and you just don't feel the heat. Like, I remember specifically talking to Eileen, like, we should get some sunscreen. But we were already drunk. And so it was like, no. And then we sat outside for another 2 hours.
Oh, no.
And then, yeah, we were just completely just roasted. We went inside, and I was like, looking at myself like, I'm not too bad. And then I just kept looking farther. And, like, as the day went on, I was like, wow, I can barely move my legs because they're so burned.
Poor Eileen, she's like limping around the house. She's so
like
burnt.
She looks like a she looks like a mannequin. Like she can't move full motion, so she's just kind of like walking around like this with her arms bent, because otherwise it hurts too much.
Well, so all that being the case, we're back here recording. So since Wednesday, nothing's really happened. Just kind of finished out the work week, and that's about it for me. I'm so frustrated because we had a really cool discussion about best concerts we've ever been to and all that stuff, and I just don't think we'll have the same energy and fun about it.
No, yeah, it was lightning in a bottle on that day. That's what else sucks is like it felt like a really good episode, and then it was just like gone.
Yeah.
So
that being said,
we're gonna try to one up it, I guess, today in some regard. We'll get there. We'll get there. So.
We didn't have this awesome layout, so
yeah, maybe this will make up for it, I guess. You don't need a lot of energy when your background looks so good.
Right.
That's it.
Well, hold on. Let's just do this real quick. What have you been playing?
What have I been playing?
Yeah, what have you been playing?
Well, I didn't really have a chance to play much.
Yeah, me either.
You know, we recorded on Wednesday and then like got ready to leave and then we're gone for a couple days. So it's been a pretty slow day of week of playing anything because real life. But
Yeah.
I am excited, and you should do this too. And this will we're probably going to get to it later in the news, but this will kind of relay is that so Colin got GTA 5 on PC.
I heard.
Eileen has a copy of it on PC, and I have a copy of it on PC. So Joe, you need to get it on PC because it just launched for free on the Epic Game Store. I think it was like Thursday or something like that.
I've heard that they have like GTA 5 has a huge multiplayer like community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the thing is like when we played it the nice thing is that I've already played so much of it, and I have a decent amount of money in the game already.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you guys play and we join up and play together, like I can kind of take you guys through. So it's not like a bunch of like like trial and error and trying to do stuff and like figuring out what you should do, and I can give you guys like some cash or whatever so that you guys can actually start and like get a good car right off the bat and stuff like that. I don't know if you can like donate cars. I have like a whole garage, so I really only use my bike in that game,
right?
Because it's just so fun. Like doing backflips and stuff in that game on your bike is the most fun thing like ever.
So okay, so I will look into that, and because that would be fun, all four of us, being able to play.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a fun game to stream, I think.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
For sure. No, it is really fun just because of like the sandbox nature of it and how wacky things can be.
7:30 on Tuesdays.
Yes, that's that is now officially our scheduled stream day is 7:30 on Tuesdays. So if you guys want to check it out, you can find us on Twitch at Nonsensory as well.
Unless Evan falls asleep.
Yeah, the last time I did fall asleep. Hey, it was a long day. I spent so long that day editing that dang video.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, if we're gonna get into the news anyways, I guess we can just start off with that GTA news. As I said, GTA launched on the Epic Game Store for free, and they also it like coincides with a mega sale that they're having, which is also really cool. So for an example, I went on and if you just sign in right now, they give you a $10 coupon that you can put towards games that are already on sale. So like that game Control that came out.
Oh, dude,
it's
yeah.
$30, and then you can take $10 off of it, so it's $20. So I bought that, and I can't wait to play that. That game looked amazing.
Wait. Hold up.
Okay.
Where are we going for all this?
Okay, so the Epic Game Store.
Yes.
Okay. You go there, and if you have an account, you sign in, and then you can click for their mega sale. And while you're there, you might as well just, you don't have to download it right now, but you can just claim GTA on your account and it'll be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you log in and then they just give you a $10 coupon. And the other cool thing is for every purchase of stuff that you buy that's on the mega sale, they give you another $10 coupon. So you can like spend that $10 on Control, and then they'll give you another coupon to use if you want to buy something else.
What is bringing all this on?
Well, they're just trying to. I mean, Steam does like those summer sales and stuff like that all the time. So I think it's like kind of one of those things where like if they're going to be a competing store to Steam, they want to have like a similar kind of thing where they have sales like that. And they're also really trying to usurp Steam as like, I wouldn't say like the platform on PC, but they want to be like up there as big as Steam. And right now like they don't have as many games, obviously.
Competing with Valve that's going to be.
It's a gargantuan feat, but also they have help in the fact that they have Fortnite and it's ridiculously popular, and that people have spent like billions of dollars on it. So, and I could go into it further with what they're planning on doing because, as we saw, they showed the Unreal Engine 5.
Oh yeah.
And a cool thing about that is they're not going to charge any revenue. They're not going to require any revenue up to $1 million.
I saw that.
So I think they just want people to be making games with their engine and putting them on their store. And like, I think they're building like a whole thing where there's like just this really cyclical easy avenue for games getting
Well-
on it and then making money off of it.
Well, yeah, that's the only way they're gonna be able to compete with Valve.
Yeah, for sure. But like if they can make money off of all those games, because the bigger games, you're going to sell more than $1 million worth of, or have more than $1 million worth of revenue. So eventually, like, given how many studios want to use the engine, they'll just be putting games on their store, making money from purchases from their store, and also from the fact that people are buying games that people made with their engine. So it's just like this big circle of revenue that they want to keep having. And it's all pretty much spurred from the fact that, they've had Unreal for a long time, and people have been licensing Unreal to make games, and they've been making money off of that. But just the amount of money that they made off of Fortnite has allowed them to kind of put all these plans into motion. And I think it's pretty cool. So, so they launched GTA on the Epic Game Store. It was free. Keep in mind, this is a game that came out in 2013, right?
Yeah.
And so many people went to buy this game. So many people went to claim their free copy of this game that it crashed the Epic Game Store for a day, where people couldn't buy stuff or download anything for an entire freaking day. This 7-year-old game basically caused this entire platform to crash, which is nuts. It's crazy. Go on.
What I saw, I'm just GTA 5. It was already huge before.
Mm-hmm.
All these people running to buy it on the Epic Game Store. That's good for Epic. But I saw that what you were before we started,
mm-hmm.
the graphic enhancement that guy did.
Oh God. Yeah, there's also so obviously this one, since it's on the Epic Game Store is basically a PC platform. But there have been previous like super enhancement mods for graphics for GTA on PC, and there's a new one called, I think it's Natural Vision Enhanced or something like that. It's just freaking insane, and I can't wait. I always pop them on. Every time I reinstall GTA, I usually like pop on the latest graphics mod to see how it works, and it's always just a treat. And this looks so good. I
don't really know what to say. It looks like
like a next gen game.
Yeah,
and this is a game from 2013. On PC, it's from 2015, but it's still a 5-year-old game. Yeah, Natural Vision Evolved is the name of it.
Yeah.
It's just in beta right now, so if you wanted to, or sorry, it's in early access, so if you wanted to get it, I'm sure you could, but there's probably stability issues and stuff like that. But I just think that it's insane that GTA comes out for free on Epic Game Store and crashes the store. It's a 5-year-old game on PC, a 7-year-old game on consoles, and every single month is in the top selling games on Steam, on PS4, on Xbox. Literally everywhere it's in the top 20 selling games on every platform still. And enough people went out to want to get a free copy of it again.
Yeah, I don't understand what it is. What did they do right? What did Rockstar do right?
It's just the sandbox nature of it is just so good. There's something about, like I said, like just hopping online and driving my bike around is like, there's just this mindset, this feeling that it gives me that's just so fun. It's just the best. I'm so excited if we actually can get all 4 of us to play it.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
I can't wait. So maybe that'll be Tuesday. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll hop in and play some Warzone again. But it would be cool if we could get like our little gang together and drive around and just mess around for a little while.
Something about first time starter pack. Oh.
Yeah, they give you a bunch of money.
Yeah, $1 million bonus cash.
Yeah, so you can just pop in and literally just buy a supercar right off the start.
That is so awesome.
You'll need to spend money to get a place to live or whatever. But those are, you don't need to get like a really nice one. You could just get a crappy one and just a base of operations. Really, the only thing that outside of some of the later expansions that they put in, which are like the criminal enterprise expansions and stuff that tie different stuff to your base, you can just start out with a crappy place, and the only difference will be that you don't have like a ton of space for cars. other than that, though. Like the place that I have, I can have like 10 cars or something stored at a time. So I've got like, like a truck with a 50 cal on it and like a rocket bike and like all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm really excited about that. And I guess moving on from there, we could get into...
Well, before we do, I just want to say that happened live on camera. I just downloaded. Well, I'm not downloading it right now on this computer, but I am purchasing
it's weird that you
for
have
free.
See, it's making you do the 2-factor thing, but it didn't make me do that, which is weird. I don't know. Maybe I had it set up already.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I did.
It might be because I only just now signed up for an Epic account.
Oh, okay.
Like literally
that's
now.
definitely why then. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into, I guess, a little bit of, it's like older news that would have been more pertinent when we recorded on Wednesday, but it's still a pretty big thing, and that is the massive Nintendo leak.
Yeah. I'll read this one.
Yes. Go right ahead.
What appears to be an unprecedented... Maybe I shouldn't.
And this is from Kotaku, by the way.
What appears to be an unprecedented trove of information related to several past Nintendo consoles was leaked to the internet starting last Friday. Many of the thousands of leaked files concern Nintendo's 2006 Wii console, including detailed design documents and even seemingly its source code. Such information would be of great interest to emulation enthusiasts, data miners, and anyone curious about Japanese gaming giants' notoriously secretive past. Links to some of the files were posted on the internet forum 4chan, those guys. It's unclear who was responsible for leaking them or their original source, but they appear to include the Wii source code and detailed schematics for its hardware, as well as hardware test demos for 1996's Nintendo 64 console and information about the internal workings of the company's 2001 GameCube platform. The biggest and craziest thing in this leak is the data sheets, block diagram... Oh, the page just jumped down while I was reading.
That's all good.
Block diagram and Verilog files for every component. Right, a Reset Era forum user called Ethereos.
I think we had the same issue on Wednesday.
Ethereos, they're Cheerios in Athens. What was your joke about the Greek?
Yeah, the Spartans ate them before they went to battle. You got to get a balanced breakfast of Ethereos.
In a post-share... Oh, wait, that's what it was. The Athenians ate them to be smart, and it's like eating your Wheaties. Did you eat your Ethereos this morning?
Yeah, and it was... Cretes. The Isle of Crete. Cretes and Ethereos.
Oh, it's so bad. But...
Womp womp.
Womp womp. In a post sharing the news, Verilog is... Oh, wow, that makes no sense once you break it up. Anyway, Verilog is a hardware description language. Is used to describe circuits via code. So with this, we can learn how every single piece of the Wii was made. That's kind of big.
Yeah, so I think when we talked about it before, it was... My thought was more or less like, all right, there's already a ton of emulation programs out there that exist for everything from, the original NES all the way up through the Wii. At this point, you can go out and download Dolphin if you wanted to and play all your Wii and GameCube and all those kind of games. So I think it's less of an issue in terms of like, oh no, people are going to be able to emulate these things, and more of like the third-party rip-off kind of stuff where they just start making, if you got all the schematics and all the files that you would need to like know how they built the Wii or like the GameCube or whatever, then it just makes it easier for you to make a rip-off version of that console.
Right.
And especially these things are especially prevalent in countries like China, where they didn't really have gaming up until recently, and now it's mostly relegated to PC over there. So there's still a huge market for rip-off consoles and stuff like that. So,
right. I think the more of the news is that they managed to steal all this. And I mean, it's a very small file. I can't remember how much it was supposed to be. In terms
of like when we think about how big files are, like the recording file for this is like, like 16, 20 gigabytes for when we're all done with the video and stuff like that. And they stole like 3 gigabytes of data. But, when it comes to, it's dependent on like the kind of files that they are. So like we're talking about like audio and video files on our end, and they're just talking basically like data sheets and schematics and stuff like that are all like small files.
So 3 gigabytes is actually a whole lot of data.
Yeah, a whole lot.
And to lose, I mean, if you think about it, like a sheet of passwords, that's nothing in data. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's true.
So if you can lose 3 gigabytes of data, that's really scary. You need to get it together, because this is the second data breach in how long? It's not very long.
Oh yeah, which was the other one?
The actual Nintendo accounts.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, it seems like, I don't know if they were going for that kind of stuff, like if they were trying to get like actual user account data, and then they just were like, all right, well, we can't do that because maybe they tightened up security after that, and then they got this. There's very few details, and like it says in the article that Nintendo's fairly secretive as a company, so I doubt that they went into like a huge amount of detail of like exactly what happened, because they probably are kind of embarrassed by the whole thing.
Right.
Bring great dishonor, Nintendo.
But I kind of feel like if you go back, old GameCube games, the classic GameCube games, are so insanely expensive. If there's a chance that I can get I wouldn't do this.
We're not advocating for anything.
But maybe getting a hold of a really cheap copy of Mario Kart Double Dash wouldn't be so bad, considering it's almost $200 for a copy on eBay right now.
I know. That's ridiculous. Yeah, and if like when we talk about emulation, like, people love to talk about emulation as like this thing where like, oh, we can talk about it because like there's some of us out there, there's plenty of us out there that do it where we have the copies of the games already. We just want a way to play them on modern stuff. And you're just like, yeah, but like a huge amount of it is just people just downloading games for free. So
yeah. But that is true. I mean, I'm one of those people. I've had 3 copies of Mario Kart Double Dash through the years, and like just scratches. And,
it's tough.
A friend borrows it and doesn't return it.
Yeah, especially in like, I think we take it for granted because we live in like a digital society now for the most part. Like, I mean, I still have some disc-based games, but for everything on my PC is not disc-based. So like I never have to worry about that stuff where like, if my disc goes to hell, then I don't have a copy of the game anymore,
I will give digital, though we're going to get into the digital versus physical argument, which I feel like is overdone, but...
Let's get digital. I want to get digital. Let's get into digital. All right, I'm fine.
I feel like each one has their pros. I prefer physical, actually, because that's less system memory, taken up. But then you say, oh, well, then you can have externals. Well, then your external gets corrupted.
Well, and it's at this point, it's like not so much anymore. Even if you have the physical disc, like back in the day, if you had a PS1 disc, you didn't have any internal storage. But like now, you have stuff where like even if you have the disc, you pop it in, and it's like the PlayStation's like, well, we need to install all this crap, so it's still on your hard drive.
And it's not even just that, but on day one, you'll have stuff that still needs to download. Mm-hmm. So it's not even all on the disc.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of it just comes down to like, if we have stuff tied to accounts that we have purchases on, what happens when those services go out of business?
Yeah, what
happens to those purchases? Versus...
There are concerns on both ends. Mm-hmm. Now, I think
Steam's never going to go out of business, but if they did, I think of all the games that I've purchased on Steam that would just be gone, and it makes me super sad.
I mean, what was it? There was a streaming service that actually went under. It was like for owning movies, digital movies, and they went under, but they allowed you to transfer all of your movies over to like Vudu.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like, you're not going to lose it. You just have to make sure you shift everything over before it's too late.
Like somebody bought the rights to have all those things basically. Like did Vudu buy them out for like super cheap when they were going out of business or something?
I'm not 100% sure how it all worked, but
this is just from memory.
Right. But in any case, I'm sure that would happen if Steam ever went under. But the fact, I think it would be nice if whenever you bought, like, okay, so nowadays when you buy a movie, almost all movies come with a code so you can get the digital copy of a movie. why can't we do that with games? Because then you can just have, or on Vudu, even if you buy the digital version, they'll actually mail you a physical copy of the movie.
Yeah, I think if you get a physical disc, they should definitely when you insert it and the console's asking you to install it anyways, then it should just tie it to your account.
Yeah.
Like right off. So then if you do lose the disc or something happens, then you can always just go, oh, well, I don't have the disc, but I can go in and download it to my account,
I think it would be nice if anytime I go in and I buy one, if I let me think. If I bought Doom Eternal digital, okay, they should send me a physical copy of the game. Why can't I have both?
Yeah, I don't know.
They cost the same.
Especially because like when you look at it, you're paying $60 plus tax to buy the physical copy. And with the digital copy, they've literally had to spend no money. They didn't have to make the packaging, they didn't have to make the disc or anything, but they're still charging you the same amount.
Yeah.
So it should be like $5 cheaper on digital, but it's not.
And here's the interesting thing. If you go in and you buy a physical copy of a game on the Switch, they'll actually give you credit on the store. Oh. I think you get like, it's only like you get, I want to say you get like a penny for every $1 back as a digital credit.
Right, yeah. That's still cool, though. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe, it'll eventually add up to like at least if you're like, I really want this game, and then you forget that you have that money, and then you're like, oh, I can knock like $5-10 off the cost of this new game.
I've already done it. I've already gotten games for free because of my build up in gold points.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, instead of doing that, how about just send me a physical copy of the game whenever I buy something digital?
How about they just send us physical copies of games for free because we talk about games?
Nonsensorypod@gmail.com.
Hit us up. Okay, so let's move on from that, and let's get into something that's near and dear to my heart, which is Doom Eternal soundtrack, which has been a train wreck. And this is also from Kotaku. So basically what happened was that Mick Gordon, who is the composer of all the music that have been in the last two Doom games, the Doom 2016 reboot and the Doom Eternal sequel that just came out this year, I guess he's mired in controversy because the 59-track OST, they're at odds because somebody on Twitter pointed out the comparison between the tracks from because, as I said, he did both soundtracks, or he did the music for both games, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. And so they released the soundtrack for 2016 when it came out, and there's a song that's on both soundtracks. They reused one song in the new game that they had in the previous game. And so somebody got their hands on the new soundtrack and compared it to the waveforms from the old soundtrack, and they're much less detailed. So that typically means like there's a lot more compression, there's a worse audio quality. And they went to Twitter and they pointed it out, and they said, like, now, compare these two. What's the deal? I don't understand. The tweet basically said, Mick Gordon is a far more talented audio engineer than me. It's not even close, and that's what makes this especially frustrating. I expect much better from him. Again, the music itself is phenomenal, but this mix on the official soundtrack is frankly terrible. So this tweet got a lot of traction because Mick Gordon himself came out and replied to this guy, and he basically said, I didn't mix those, and I wouldn't have done that. You'll be able to spot the small handful of tracks I mixed, meat hook, command, and control, etc. So he's basically coming out and saying, like, hey, I didn't mix those tracks at all. So somebody else at Bethesda had mixed them. And another one, he said, his disparaging words about the game soundtrack can be even traced back to January when he commented on this fan's YouTube cover. Fun fact, all those stupid time signature changes, in quotes, that are a result of someone from marketing piecing this track together without any musical knowledge. Here, the Kotaku article goes on to say, fan complaints rumbled on for a few more weeks, culminating in direct and personal attacks against id's lead audio designer Chad Mossholder, the person credited on the tracks fans have had complaints with. So basically, there's a huge statement that Marty Stratton, who is the lead producer for Doom Eternal, So he came out on Reddit and made this huge post. But long story short about it is that he said, like, look, we we contracted Mick to make this soundtrack. It was due to come out at the time of or shortly after the game. And he came to us a couple months ago when it was initially due for him to have the tracks to him.
Right.
And he said, like, look, I'm having trouble. I need an extension. They granted him the extension, and they told him that they would pay him the extra from what he would be working. So not only did they grant him the extension, but they said, like, okay, well, it's fine. We'll give you more than what we actually contracted you for money-wise for this contract, and we'll pay you extra. And then he still was unable to deliver it.
And then had the nerve, after they had to bring in the other guy to wrap up his work, he then had the nerve to criticize them and throw this other guy under the bus. When he failed to complete his job, it's really, this is despicable, if you ask me.
Yeah, so the very last thing that Stratton went on to say, which I think is the big takeaway, regardless of all the muddy back and forth of, like, whose fault it is or whatever, basically moving forward, it doesn't look good for Mick Gordon being involved in Doom from this way on. Stratton says, as for the immediate future, we are at the point of moving on and won't be working with Mick on the DLC we currently have in production. As I've mentioned, his music is incredible, he is a rare talent, and I hope he wins many awards for his contribution to Doom Eternal at the end of the year. I'm as disappointed as anyone that we are at this point, but as we have many times before, we will adapt to changing circumstances and pursue the most unique and talented artists in the industry with whom to collaborate. Our team has enjoyed this creative collaboration a great deal, and we know Mick will continue to delight fans for many years ahead. So basically, it looks like, Mick didn't come through on the contract. Then he threw the guy who was basically just doing his job, Chad Mossholder, at id, it's his job to just pick up where this dude dropped the ball. And then, as is usual, people, online had to go and find out, who the guy is and go and attack him and send a bunch of horrible things to him, which is really unwarranted because at the end of the day, Mick didn't deliver what he said he was going to, and they had to move on because their game was coming out. Like, they're not going to push the game back for the soundtrack, So,
not indefinitely, no. And they had already pushed it back once,
right?
For him,
right? Exactly. So, I mean, they gave him the chance. He didn't come through with it, and there's really no reason that this Mossholder guy, Chad Mossholder, deserved any sort of backlash or anything.
I mean, yeah, I feel bad for him. And as far as what's his name? What's that guy's name? I mean, good riddance, I think.
Mick Gordon.
Mick Gordon, yeah. I mean, it seems like he's really talented.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the soundtracks are amazing, but
yeah, I'm really sad.
If that's the way you're going to act, like.
Yeah, see you, bud. I'm sure they can find somebody else that can make a good soundtrack. That's the thing that sucks is, like, who knows, though? Like, I said this previously, that, like, the soundtrack for Doom and Doom Eternal is, like, such a huge part of the experience.
It's what drives it, I think.
Yeah, it gives you that push forward almost in the combat. Whenever it comes on, you're just like get so excited.
Oh, dude!
So yeah. I don't know. Obviously they're going to go in a different direction. Who knows how different that direction is going to be, or if it's just like a very similar direction with a different person. I don't know, but I'll be interested to see how this whole thing shakes out. So.
Well, it closed it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. So the next bit of news is there's a new Star Wars movie that just got announced. So I'll read this here. Disney has announced that a new Star Wars movie directed by Thor Ragnarok helm Taika Waititi is in development. In addition, a new Disney Plus Star Wars show from Russian doll writer Leslie Headland is also in the works. No details have been released about the film's title, plot, characters, or setting within the Star Wars universe, but Disney has stated that Waititi will direct and co-write and that the film will be released theatrically. Waititi is joined on scripting duties by Krysty Wilson Cairns, the writer of 1917 and Edgar Wright's upcoming Last Night in Soho. While we don't know anything about what Waititi and Wilson Cairns' story will explore, we do know that Disney has not ruled out the possibility of new Star Wars films becoming trilogies. Sorry. Could this be a standalone story like Rogue One and Solo, or is this the start of a new saga? I certainly believe that this could be a new saga because they did just wrap the Skywalker saga.
It's interesting to me that like people would suggest that I mean, I know that they have put out like Rogue One and Solo and like their one-off Star Wars films.
Right.
But it would be they came after a new trilogy was announced, right? So it would be really weird to have a one-off Star Wars film and then have another trilogy announced, and it's Star Wars. I think that like we expect a trilogy from Star Wars, right?
Well,
at least I do. It would feel really weird if they just like stopped with the trilogy thing. But
yeah, no, it would certainly be. It would be odd. What I don't understand is I don't consider Rogue One a one-off. It fits into the whole story.
Well, yeah. So does Han Solo, like the Solo movie. I mean, they fit into the timeline, but like, there's never going to be a Rogue One 2. You know, like.
Right. Well, I mean,
in that
but
sense,
what I'm saying is, it should be like what is it? An anthology, or is that just 5? How does that work?
I don't know. Quadrilogy.
Quadrilogy.
I think that's like 4 or something. Maybe that's just a stupid Linkin Park album name or something.
In any case, I kind of always viewed them as all encompassing, except for Solo. That's the only one that I think is a solo movie.
Pardon the pun, yeah. So, well, like, what do you think of the guy that directed Thor Ragnarok directing a Star Wars movie?
Oh, dude.
Do you think it's a good fit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I loved I loved Thor Ragnarok. That was probably my favorite Thor movie. It might be my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah. It's definitely up there. I think it's right behind. Like, I would think that like the first Guardians and Infinity War might be up there above Thor Ragnarok, but
for the first Guardians is definitely way up there on that
okay,
list.
we're gonna get a little off topic here, but all right.
Okay.
Listing out your favorite MCU movies, top 5.
Top 5
Top
MCU.
5, if you can, off the top of your head.
That counts all Spider-Man,
We'll count
right?
the Spider-Man. We'll count the new Tom Holland Spider-Mans.
Okay.
Not the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans or anything before that, because he wasn't technically part of the Marvel Universe then.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse counts.
That's not my number 1 right there.
Okay, all right. Well, then we'll do live action.
Okay.
Because that one really sticks out as a completely different thing. You know.
Okay, fair enough. I would say Homecoming is this is no particular order. This is just my top 5. Homecoming, Ragnarok. That's tough. That is really tough.
Do you think Far From Home cracked your top 5?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Far From Home was good, but I don't. It's not. It was like, this is an enjoyable movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right. Well, you got to finish out your top 5. I'm sorry. So you got Homecoming,
and
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
What else?
What was the one? Infinity War.
Infinity War. Okay.
Doctor Strange. I love Doctor Strange.
The solo Doctor Strange movie. Okay.
Oh yeah, so good.
And you got one more. Black Panther?
No.
No.
Actually, oh man, you're gonna get me in trouble.
Uh-oh.
I didn't like Black Panther at all.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, it's okay. It's no.
It was enjoyable. Oh my goodness, it's not gonna come to me. Do you know what your 5 would be offhand?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, if you already have them, just go for it.
I mean, a lot of mine would be the same. Guardians. The first Guardians is freaking so good to me. Homecoming.
Yeah.
Infinity War. Thor Ragnarok, and probably the fifth one is the hardest one for me.
Yeah. If I didn't say Guardians, then Guardians is my 5th.
Yeah, you didn't say Guardians.
Yeah.
So Guardians.
So there's my 5. Yeah.
Okay, and for me, I'm trying to think. What would be my 5th one? I don't know. I would throw Endgame in there just because of like what it did.
Oh, Endgame! I thought was amazing.
I don't think it's as enjoyable as the other movies that I have. Like of the other 4 that I listed, I think it's definitely worse than them. But just as like a thing that closed out that whole ridiculous 10-year arc of stories is impressive.
Yeah, I mean, if we opened
Civil
it up
War,
to
maybe Civil War.
Okay.
I would throw in there. I'm really excited to see this Black Widow movie too.
Yeah. No, this looks really good.
It looks really good.
If we opened this up to top 6, I would actually slot Endgame into my number 6.
Okay.
But because Endgame is brilliant, but it doesn't crack my top 5.
All right.
Yeah.
So excited to see what the Thor Ragnarok director can do in a Star Wars movie. Watiti. Please do not touch my Watitis. Okay, so Microsoft is showing first-party games in July, and it's still promising Halo for launch. This is also another Kotaku article.
Why? Sorry.
Go on.
Why it is that they decided that they'd show off all their third-party games to start off?
I don't know. Maybe they had more to show from the third-party stuff than they would first-party. Like maybe
but that's what I'm afraid of.
Maybe they need the extra month, possibly, to get things all together. But yeah, that you would expect the first-party stuff would be more far ahead, right? Because they would have been the people to get the dev kits first, right? You would hope.
Let's read about it.
So Microsoft says it plans to show updates on its first-party games sometime in July, and it plans on launching Xbox Series X and Halo Infinite later this year. So they did, like we were just talking about, they did do their third-party reveal, and they went through a bunch of game trailers from their third-party. And, you know, the big thing from that reveal was that they were going to show Assassin's Creed gameplay, and then it was basically like maybe like a total of 10 seconds of actual gameplay.
Yeah.
And otherwise it was in-engine stuff where everything was like cut together to look really good. It basically should have just been a cinematic at that point. And then the usual suspects of like they announced a new Madden, which, you know, of course it's Madden. It's like,
right.
You know, death, taxes, and Madden basically every year. So, and then they showed off, a decent stable of some other stuff that we can get into in a little bit. But that happened this last month, and so in July they'll be showing off their first-party games. And they said in a blog post that they would be announcing a series of monthly moments in which they will share information about next gen, starting with this week's look at third-party games, which is what we talked about just then, and then first-party games will be shown during a July event, including announcements of new games and how current ones are being optimized for Series X.
Well,
yes.
What all that third-party event did for me was show me what I'll be playing on my PS5, along with Horizon.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there was nothing. That's the thing. That's the other strange thing. Like you were mentioning. Like, why would you show third-party? Because you have to think that most of those games aren't just none of those are third-party exclusives. You know,
or very few.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, like it's like, well, this looks good. This is also just a showcase for PS5, though, because yeah, like you said, this is what we're probably going to be playing these things on. A handful of them were still announced to be even on last-gen consoles and next-gen consoles. So you could potentially, they were potentially showing off PS4 games and PS5 games and PC games. Like none of it. That's what's so strange. It's like if you're trying to move the needle on being excited about your platform, it's like then show your games. Don't show stuff for other platforms.
They have to come through on this first party thing.
Yeah, and if if they're going to show Assassin's Creed, like okay, maybe you reveal that you have like an exclusive partnership where you get an expansion for exclusively for Xbox or whatever, but then they just showed off just nothing. It was weak. So
that was. 2 weeks ago, I went off about how Microsoft seems to be making all the right moves. This is, I think, the first misstep they've made for a while.
Yeah. So we have a quote from Microsoft Game Marketing CVP Jarrett West, where he says, what was already going to be a once-in-a-generation year for gaming, a new generation of consoles, a wave of new next-generation games, and the launch of new ways to play with game streaming. That's referring to their Project xCloud service, which they have yet to show again. 2020 has become the year that challenged us all and tested every commitment we've made in the face of COVID-19. Difficult tests tend to reveal your true priorities, and for us, they are the health and safety of our employees, our fans, and partners. Going on to say, despite these complications, the company said its goal is to release Series X and Halo Infinite this holiday season. In addition, it reaffirmed plans for all major first-party games coming this year to be available on Xbox Game Pass for PC, as well as for Xbox Game Pass to become integrated with its Project xCloud streaming platform later this year. So, again, it's just like, I appreciate what they're doing. Like, we've talked about Game Pass incessantly on the show about how much we love it. And that's great, and I'm glad that they're doing it. But if you're trying to sell your hardware as a place to play, I don't really see how coming out and saying, like, here's a bunch of third-party games that are probably going to be on other platforms, and also all of our first-party games are going to be on Game Pass on PC. So, like, if you have a PC, don't worry about buying our console.
I feel like, we talk about the possibility of moving towards an agnostic kind of, there's no all one system, or maybe even like what we're witnessing in the gaming. I'm gonna nerd out. So there's a theory in what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
That before the Big Bang, the universe was big, and then the universe collapsed, and there was, then the Big Bang, it blew up again.
You're getting really far out there, John.
Oh yeah, I am. But what I'm saying is, so where you witnessed where there was
contraction.
Yeah, the PC was the thing, and then it blew up, and then it went out to the systems, and it kind of expanded, and handhelds, all this, and video, cell phone, and now it seems to be kind of collapsing back in, and we might go back to PC centric. We might lose I did go like way out there, didn't I?
It's okay. It eventually revealed itself to be an apt comparison, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like we could be coming back to PC centric.
I mean,
really,
that would be cool for me. I'm fine with that. But also having competing platforms means that there's more innovation. So I wouldn't want it to be just PC.
I think that's what I'm kind of getting at, is that these things are cyclical. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a condensation. Everyone's going to be like, why can't we get along? And then eventually someone's going to be like, but I can make something better. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have the next round. But I think right now we're on the part of the cycle where we're coming down to a condensation.
Right.
And so maybe Microsoft is just a little bit ahead of the curve there.
Yeah, maybe.
That was a long way around to say that.
Yes. So I guess, do you want to do the next one?
This one, get hype. Halo 2 Anniversary comes to Steam and Xbox Game Pass for PC next week,
which is actually already here.
Yep.
Yes.
So we had the part where my mind was blown on Wednesday, so you don't get to see that again. Yeah. Unfortunately. Because I read this on Wednesday, and Evan looks at me and says, that already happened. And I, what? So, a few weeks after public testing got underway, Microsoft has announced that Halo 2 Anniversary, the remake of the 2004 first-person shooter and the next part of the Halo Master Chief Collection, will come to Steam and Xbox Game Pass for PC on May 12th. Halo 2 Anniversary was originally released in 2014 as part of the Halo the Master Chief Collection for Xbox One console, with dramatically improved cinematics, new cutscenes, and remastered audio. The PC port is optimized even further with support for 4K resolutions, ultra-wide displays, and adjustable field of view. And players who like a healthy shot of nostalgia in their games will be able to toggle between the anniversary and original Halo 2 graphics. Oh, and it says that you can get it as part of the collection or standalone, which I did not read.
Right,
last
you
time,
can buy any of the pieces of the collection for $10, or you can buy the whole thing for 40. So
yeah, it makes no sense to get them separate. Why?
So yeah, if you've been waiting for Halo on PC,
Dude.
you get Halo 2, and
man.
then Halo 3 shouldn't be far along, and then it'll be Halo 4, and then that's it. Then everything.
It's all this year. It's all coming
Mm-hmm.
this year, and the newest Halo. We're supposed to get the newest Halo. Isn't that what?
Yeah, that was what they said in that
Yep.
briefing on the first party. So, and like they said, it'll be
Well,
on Game Pass for PC. So the new Halo, when it comes to PC or when it comes out this fall, it should be on PC as well.
That's one thing that we can look forward to seeing in that July first party is new Halo. They better not disappoint there. I mean,
when we were talking about the third party reveal for Xbox and death taxes and
yeah.
and a new Madden. Well, I forgot. I should have said death taxes, a new Madden, and a new Call of Duty because Activision has come out and said that Call of Duty and World of Warcraft Shadowlands are still on track for this year. As if there was any doubt that Call of Duty would be on track. I mean, I guess there could have been doubt given how popular Warzone's been, but it looks as though Warzone's going to be like a long-running thing. And they're going to keep releasing their yearly stuff.
I really was not sure. I mean, even when we got into it and started playing it, I wasn't sure if it was going to, like... It wasn't until that I heard 30 million players that I was sure it was going to stick around. Now I'm sure it's going to be... That's going to stick harder than Fortnite, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. So this is from PC Gamer, written by Andy Chalk. Like other game companies, employees at Activision's various studios have been forced to work remotely over the past several weeks. During the post-earnings financial call today, company executives said that the transition has been challenging, but major releases, including the next Call of Duty game and the World of Warcraft Shadowlands, remain on track to come out this year. Quote, although the shift to remote working does add complexity and challenges in some areas of the game development process, including creative collaboration, motion capture, voiceover work, localization, and quality assurance, we are implementing mitigation measures to address each of these areas, Chief Operation Officer Daniel Allegre said. Importantly, based on the work to date, we still expect to deliver a robust slate of content over the remainder of the year. This includes the next premium release of Call of Duty, 2 titles based on library IP from Activision, the World of Warcraft Shadowlands expansion, regional testing for new mobile titles, and ongoing live operations across our key franchises. Blizzard President J. Allen Brack got slightly more specific about the Shadowlands release target, which is coming a little bit later than we thought. Since most previous WoW expansions have arrived in July or August, we expected it to show up in the summer as well. Brack said that Brack said in the call that it will be out closer to the end of the year. Our teams have done a really good job in shifting to work from home, he said. We were able to welcome select players into the closed alpha for Shadowlands last month, and thanks to the hard work of the team, Shadowlands is on track to launch Q4 this year. Interestingly, while Activision seems firmly committed to Call of Duty and Shadowlands, there was no mention at all of 2 other big games we're looking forward to, Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. Either of them could be one of the 2 library IP games Allegre referenced, but that would be a tremendous undersell. I can't imagine Blizzard would pass on the opportunity to mention them by name if it wasn't in a position to do so. So, yeah, I completely agree with that last sentiment. It doesn't seem as though Diablo 4 or Overwatch 2 will be out this year because, well,
no.
They would, like he said, they would have taken the opportunity to mention it, because when you're making an earnings call like that, particularly when you're speaking to investors, if you can tell them, hey, also Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 are going to be out this year, they'd love to hear that. So.
Oh, yeah. There's no way we're going to see a Diablo 4. And you look at the time between Diablo 1 and 2, look at the time between Diablo 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure there's like there's at least a decade between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
More
I think
than
you're
that.
right, yeah.
So we're not getting Diablo 4 anytime soon.
Yeah, what they showed looked pretty good, but I don't know how far in development it was. It could have just been like an early couple stages or whatever that they had worked out, but that's not to say that they have a whole game.
As far as
close.
WoW goes, like I was never huge in WoW.
Mm.
I've had a lot of friends who, had a WoW addictions.
Yeah.
Like to the point where
I still do. I
Yeah.
still have friends with WoW addictions. It's great.
Oh yeah, I had a friend who classically, skipped school for a week straight, and didn't do anything but WoW, like no sleep, no nothing, like that. I don't understand. So
it's a community, Joe.
like I didn't get into WoW at all until Classic, and then you guys were all playing, and you were all like, You should play it. We're all playing, and then I got on with Colin, and we played for a couple of days, and I was like, I don't see it. Like it's fun, but
I think a bunch of us hopped on for the Classic train, and I had my fill up to like level 40, and then I was good, which was still fun. I mean, like it was still a decent, like it's still a fun time for
absolutely.
For what it was, but yeah, it wasn't something that was ever. I don't think it was ever going to really hook me like it did.
But
way back in the day.
If WoW's your thing, there's going to be an expansion, so another one. That's how many, like 3,000 expansion number 3,000.
Yeah, I think they're on like 6 or 7 now. Yeah,
is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
It feels like way more than that. I feel like.
Let's find out.
Yeah, I'm interested because it's been forever.
What are the Warcraft expansions in order? The Burning Crusade 2007, The Wrath of the Lich King 2008, Cataclysm 2010, Mists of Pandaria 2012, Warlords of Draenor 2014, Legion 2016, Battle for Azeroth 2018, and then Shadowlands will be 2020.
Oh wow!
So
they are
1,
due
2,
for one.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so this will be 8.
Wow.
So
I did not realize.
I didn't realize that there was such a huge
there's some big gaps. Yeah.
Because, WoW launched in 2004.
Yeah.
And Burning Crusade didn't come out until 2007, which is surprising. I thought it would have come out sooner than that. But
yeah, I thought they were coming a lot faster than that.
I guess the initial game did have a decent amount of content. None of the people playing WoW are coming right now. In any meaningful way. So you want to kick off the next one, sir?
Yep.
Okay.
What was the other thing in there? Because we didn't touch on that at all. It was WoW, and what was the other one?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mortal Kombat. Have you ever wanted to play Mortal Kombat as RoboCop? If you did, this next article will interest you. Great news for fans of Mortal Kombat 11's single-player narrative this morning, as NetherRealm Studios revealed Mortal Kombat 11 Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, an all-new $40 expansion.
Yeah, dude.
Wow. It continues the game's story and adds new fighters, including returning favorites Fujin and Shiva, and certain half-man, half-machine, all-cop.
That's the best description of all time. Half-man, half-machine, all-cop. That's so good.
As Liu Kang prepares to reshape history as his reward for defeating Kronika. I'm not familiar with...
Lord of Weed, yeah. No, I don't think he really is.
Yeah, this one got warm.
So Kronika, Lord of Weed.
Thank you. Here. Mine got warm. Thank you. Cheers. In Mortal Kombat 11 story mode, the evil sorcerer Shang Tsung appears with some familiar faces at his side. It turns out Liu Kang can't fix history without Kronika's crown. Destroyed during their battle. The only way to retrieve it is to send Shang Tsung
Sure.
back in time.
Sounds like you're trying to say sanctions.
Sanctioned.
Like a really thick Asian accent.
Are we really going to trust this dude? Does it help that RoboCop is coming with? Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath will be available on all digital platforms May 26th. All platforms will gain access to a free update with new arenas, including the return of Deadpool and Soul Chamber, stage fatalities, and friendships. So I didn't realize the friendships thing was a real thing. I thought that was like a big joke.
No, those are real. They've been in a bunch of them. They haven't been in, I think, the last few, but they're adding them back.
I see. That just goes to show like how little I pay attention to Mortal
Kombat. Well, I felt that it was I felt that it was necessary to talk about it. A, because RoboCop, and B, because it's a $40 expansion to a fighting game, which seems ridiculous.
Okay. No, this is newsworthy because it is RoboCop. I agree with you there, and that is the most money I think I've seen asked for an expansion ever.
In a while, yeah. Like even like the last ones I'm thinking of are like The Witcher 3. They had like 2 expansions, but that was like $10 and $20.
Oh, was that it?
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you got the DLC for Horizon, that was $30.
Okay,
but that was like a whole game.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's why it seems weird to me. It's $40 for an expansion for a fighter, though. It seems bizarre to me. It can be up to $50 bundled with the Combat Pass DLC, which
that seems like a money grab to me.
Players who don't own Mortal Kombat 11 can purchase the Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath Collection, which includes the original game, the expansion, and all DLC for $60. So, I mean, if you don't own the game already and you want to hop in, I think it's probably best to just wait until that Aftermath Collection comes out and just spend the $60 instead of having to pop another $40 or $50 for all that crap.
Yeah, you'll be talking over $100.
Yeah.
Just wait a little bit.
Generally, this is one of the reasons I don't like fighters is because they charge so much for the extra characters. Like, I got...
because they know they're the ones that they release, they know that you want them. Mm-hmm. These are the guys you want.
Well, like when I bought Dragon Ball Fighter Z,
right,
and they released a bunch of DLC characters that are all like $10 each, and then half of them were just more Goku. It's like how many times
just different outfits.
Yeah, it's just it's like different power levels of Goku, like Ultra Instinct Goku, and like all this crap, and I'm just like, who cares, man? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It just seems ridiculous.
That's like, I mean, I know that people. So me and my older brother were talking about skins in games, and he was saying that he didn't understand the idea of skins. And we were just talking about various DLC.
Yeah.
And I mean, I said that I kind of understand the idea of skins, at least, because it does add making something look the way you want it to look.
Mm-hmm.
I can get behind that. What I don't understand with DLC is like anything that. The way I see DLC is if I'm spending money, I want it to give me a substantial advantage. But then you're talking about pay to win. And then that's broken, and you don't want that either. So really, a lot of DLC stuff is stuff I'm like, skins are the only thing that makes sense, in my opinion, because it allows you to feel like you're getting something, and it doesn't break it.
I mean, I would be fine with DLC stuff that makes you substantially more powerful if half of the games that come out now weren't also somehow tied to multiplayer.
Yeah, that's where it gets broken.
Right, yeah. And that's what sucks about it is like, if I want to get some DLC for the Division or whatever that makes my character like super powerful or whatever, then it's like, oh, we can't really do that because then, you'll take it into multiplayer and wreck people with it. And it's just like, but I don't play that. Like,
but if I'm playing Dark Souls and I can buy a sword that's like, ultra powerful, I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
Because that's a game that needs something where you can at least feel like you stand a chance.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Well, so the next thing we got here is a little bit of Last of Us 2.
Skip.
We already did that. Yeah. So the Last of Us 2 latest story trailer is intense and violent. This is from GameStop, written by Steve Watts. The most recent story trailer for The Last of Us 2 is here, and it is suitably tense. While there are appearances by the infected, The majority of the trailer deals with violence between ordinary people, and it looks like it's taking an emotional toll on Ellie. Ellie will be the primary protagonist this time around after serving as a sidekick for the majority of the original game. She is definitely ready to survive alone. So we'll have this trailer up. We'll have the trailer up, obviously, as we talk about it. But basically, the trailer.
I love the trailer.
It just made me even more excited for the game.
I almost cried just watching the trailer.
And I don't know if the trailer being released so soon after all the news about the leaks and stuff, if they were going to release the trailer anyways, like already before that all that stuff happened, or if they felt that they needed to release another trailer to, kind of make all the people that were bummed about the leaks and stuff like that, and like especially when we talked about the trouble with management at Naughty Dog and all the crunch and stuff like that. Like there was a lot of negative press about Naughty Dog for a while, and then they dropped this new trailer.
That's why it wasn't surprising that they were trying to say it was somebody on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're definitely right. It's exciting. I don't think I'm as excited for Last of Us as I am for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And I do think having both games there for a while, they had the release dates set. They were only a week apart. Now it's at least they have a month. I mean, I think that's still too close.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at this point my money's going towards Ghost.
Okay.
Because I already didn't see that I didn't think The Last of Us needed a continuation anyway.
Right.
I am excited for it. Like I don't want to convey the wrong thing. Like it looks good, it looks amazing, but it's not where like my heart says I can wait.
Well, since we're already into the trailer news, I guess, and talking about the trailers, I think that it's interesting that you say that you're more interested in Ghost of Tsushima over The Last of Us 2. When
I saw this
when they just released the 18-minute Ghost of Tsushima gameplay footage, and it was like basically 3 parts.
Tell me about it.
So it was basically they broke the trailer down into like exploration, and then your two
it's like outfits.
Well, that was part of it, yeah. Where they had like a special camera that you could use, and they went through like the photo mode,
yeah,
and how you could make it like all black and white, and then they had.
That's actually playable,
right? Yeah,
what do they call it? Like samurai vision or something?
Yeah, it's like samurai movie vision or something like that, where you can play the whole game in black and white, which looked really cool to me. And then they also have the entire Japanese soundtrack, like voice track. Like,
can you allow? I know you were just about to get into it, but if I can like break off for one quick moment, Splinter Cell Conviction on the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
It had a single player story mode, and it had a co-op campaign, 2-player co-op campaign. Mm-hmm. Both were full stories, separate stories.
Okay.
It was probably the best. It was the best Splinter Cell, I think.
Okay.
And it was fantastic. Anyway, what was really cool about that game, what they did like so well, was that whenever you were hidden, everything was black and white. The whole game was black and white. So whenever you were hidden and you were inaudible and all that, everything was black and white. And whenever you like were creeping through an area where you were visible, everything was color. Mm-hmm. You could see full color. So it was like you're trying to sneak and you realize like there's like a street lamp overhead and you're like, I am like right out in the open. Your heart's racing. Everything's full color. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it that like amped that experience. And just like the black and white was so cool. And what Ghost is going for because you can play through as the samurai or you can play through as Ghost, where you're, the sneaky and...
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like you have to like pick which way you want to play. I think you can just switch between them.
That's what it looked like to me too. I'm not sure.
Like, I don't know. Maybe there's like skill trees and items that you can get where if you want.
Yeah, maybe it's play style.
Yeah, or you could. I don't know if you can like switch off on the fly, or if it's a thing where you play through one playthrough in a certain way, and then maybe you can play through a different way in another playthrough.
That hasn't been very clear, but that black and white, I'm seeing it, and it's like that could be really cool.
Yeah, and especially I think with the Japanese voice track, I think it'll really be like you're living or playing a samurai movie.
It's making me want to go back and watch some more Akira Kurosawa. Some Seven Samurai. You know.
So, so the footage shows off aspects of exploration of the island of Tsushima, where players will be able to summon a ghost and freely travel around the world. A gameplay element lets players summon a gust of wind to direct them toward their goal as an unobtrusive guide. Players can also be guided towards secrets in the open world by animals like foxes or birds, leading them to hidden shrines or collectibles. The open world also looks gorgeous with bamboo forests, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, they basically take you through. Well, the first part of the trailer was, okay, here's the exploration elements of it. And then the next part was, here's how you would play as a samurai that would take on people heads up. And then here's how you would play as the ghost, where you would be more stealth-oriented.
The vibe that I got a lot from it while I was watching that was very Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I heard a lot of comparisons between Breath of the Wild and this game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a much more brutal Breath of the Wild, which I'm down for. Like,
I never played Breath of the Wild. I don't have a Switch. And I think that it's funny that you that you mentioned how like you saw this trailer and you're more excited for Ghost of Tsushima over The Last of Us, because I'm the complete opposite. I saw this trailer and I was like bored to tears.
Really?
Yeah. It just looked like entirely style over substance to me. It seemed like, wow, this game looks really good, but like I was sitting there watching the trailer and there was no combat at all for like a good 5 minutes of an 18-minute long trailer. And I don't see the appeal. I know that certain people like a certain vibe that they get from a game and like living in this sort of like environment and the way that the game makes them feel. But when they finally got to combat and everything was like one shot killing everything, it just made me seem like, after playing like more complex combat games, like if I'm somebody that like is really into Dark Souls or Bloodborne, and then I go in to play this game, I'm gonna want to die because it looks like so like I feel like he walks up, you're the samurai, and I get it, you're a samurai, so like you're gonna hit somebody with a sword, they're gonna die. But like the reason that you don't one-shot everything in most games is because it's boring as hell to just be able to one-shot things. And he fights a crowd of like 5 dudes. He kills the first dude in one shot, and then it does the same thing that all these games do, where you've aggroed 3 dudes and they all attack you one by one.
No, I have the perfect counter for you.
Yes.
Any Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of looks like that too.
Assassin's Creed is fun, but it's like, yes, everything looks like one-hit kills, but lining those things up to work the way they're supposed to isn't so easy. Okay. I mean, because Assassin's Creed, there are fights where you're against like 20 guys and you're just like, you're dead. Okay, no, you're dead. Because once you get the first guy, you can just start railing everybody one hit with the hidden blade. Okay. And that's what it looked like to me. It's that you have to make it happen, and then you can just kind of, I don't know. Judgment is out. I will give you that it was very combat light. But if the whole like they said, the whole focus seems to be on exploration.
Right, yeah. And that's why I think that it's not my kind of game. Because if it's going to be all about exploration and being like going and finding the little stories and the unique stuff in the, I don't care about that. If I'm going to play as a samurai, I want to fight people and I want it to be fun.
We are two very different types of gamer.
Yeah.
It's becoming apparent to me.
Like, at least I know from The Last of Us, right? I know that there's combat the whole way through.
Like I said, I'm not excited for it. I just think I can wait. I can wait until it's a $40, $30 game and grab it then. Like, I'm not in any rush to play it.
I suppose I'm just like, this went from like I could probably buy this day one to I'm gonna wait to see what the reviews say at least.
For which one? For Ghost?
For Ghost, yeah.
Yeah.
At the very least, because I need to see if the combat system is really that simple, or like you're saying, maybe it just seems that simple, but there's more to it than that.
Well, here's the deal. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen right now, like live. Let's see what happens when I buy. I'll buy it and play it, and we'll see what you think of it, and maybe I'll just gift it to you because you've gifted me RE too. So
let's make a bet.
Okay.
Let's make a bet.
Okay.
I will bet that The Last of Us 2 will review better than Ghost of Tsushima. Now you can either choose to say A, that Tsushima will review better than The Last of Us, or I don't take that bet because you think that I'm right.
Oh, I think you're wrong, actually.
You think Tsushima will review better?
I do.
All right.
No, what? Hold on. Because I will take the bet.
Okay.
No conditions, but I'm just saying I think the reason that Tsushima will review better than The Last of Us is because I think these spoilers are going to hurt the game worse.
Okay.
Than and the hype for Last of Us. Those combined are going to hurt Last of Us enough to bump it below in the reviews.
So you think there's the hype is going to make it easier for people to be disappointed in Last of Us?
Yes.
You might be right. That's a good point. I hadn't considered that.
Do you want to reconsider your bet?
No, because we came to we came to opposite sides on this bet, and it makes for better viewing. If we're at odds, I think.
So to further highlight the difference in us as gamers, I'm going to bring this up.
Oh yeah. This is so much proof that we're completely different gamers.
Over 11 million units of Animal Crossing New Horizons sold in just 11 days. 1 million copies a day.
This makes my brain hurt. I don't understand.
1 million copies a day.
This just shows you how much of a beast the Switch is.
Yeah.
Like this is a single platform game.
This is what Nintendo brings to the table. Like everyone gives a lot of crap to Nintendo, but they have a lot of IP that you can only get here, and they all sell like this. On March 20th, Animal Crossing New Horizons went on sale. The game moved 1.88 million copies in Japan at launch, surpassing the country's previous biggest selling Switch hit at launch, Pokemon Sword and Shield worldwide. The game was also a smash, a massive one. According to Nintendo, there have been 11.77 million units of Animal Crossing New Horizons sold globally. These numbers include the downloadable units and bundles as well. Those numbers also mean that the game's first 11 days on sale, over 1 million copies were sold each day. Why does this one say? I don't understand what that chart's trying to show us, but yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. Jesus.
So we talked about on Wednesday in our infamously lost episode. Infamous to us.
It is infamous to us. Yeah, now it's forever lost. Oh, if we can ever trash the program openly, I will take every opportunity.
It will come. We will destroy this program, and we will make sure that everyone knows to stay away. But we're not there yet. We talked about the popularity of Animal Crossing throughout time, and you were surprised at how many they sold of this game, and I had pointed out to you that every version of Animal Crossing has sold like this.
Yeah, I think what brought it up, what made me think of it is like when I'm thinking of Nintendo games, I'm usually like the Smash Brothers kind of person or whatever. And then they added the Mario, or they added the Animal Crossing guys into Smash, and I was like, oh really, they're that popular? And then you pointed out like, no, these games sell really well every time, and I had no idea.
Yeah, it's every game that's sold like that, and I would look it up again, but I think we'll let that go. The numbers are huge. I think City Folk might have been the biggest one at like 28 million copies, something like that. It's which I mean, you put it next to Call of Duty, and you're like, well, you know.
Well, yeah, but
it's a lot.
Well, yeah, but Call of Duty is like a multi-platform
Exactly.
You
This
know,
is all on the Switch.
This is all just the Switch. And for me, the first thing that I think of is, wow, I didn't know how many people with mortgages already like to pay mortgages on their games. Like, I don't understand.
You should talk to Hazel. She now, so she's bought up to where she now has the second floor.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I think that's like the 5th expansion you can get on your house. It's $1.25 million.
Dude, where do these people live? Like, they live in like a really, really expensive area, I guess.
It's a deserted island.
Oh, okay, I see. So they're like Elon Musk finding some island, and he's just gonna transform it into a resort or something.
I just got fried tortilla burp. was kind of good.
Here, let me taste it. Hang on. Well, okay. Since we're on the topic of Nintendo and things that are close to Joe's heart,
Oh man,
there's a new Paper Mario coming out, which was just announced.
Oh my goodness!
Was just announced this week out of the blue, and now it's already gonna be like the release date is super close. So this is from VentureBeat, by a guy named Jeff Grubb. And Nintendo has a surprise for Mario fans. The publisher is working on a new Paper Mario game, and it's launching soon for Nintendo Switch. Paper Mario: The Origami King debuts July 17th with an all-new story and characters for $60. And Nintendo revealed the game in what? Why are people that write for places so bad at writing? And Nintendo revealed the game in 2-minute trailer, which you can watch by clicking play above.
Have you noticed that a lot of places... I'm sorry, I need to talk into my mic a little more. Have you noticed that a lot of places are, like, the writing quality has gone down, like, globally?
Precipitously, yeah. It's just like at least I've 3 articles that I've pulled up. I've had to stop and, like, reword them as I'm doing them because there's typos everywhere.
Or how about, like, really, like, globally known newspaper that I won't name, like, their sites will have articles on them that are like, who wrote this crap?
Yeah, I think it's from the fact that there's so many more news articles now than there ever were before. Paper Mario: The Origami King brings back the two-dimensional plumber from the previous games. This time, however, he is fighting off an origami menace, according to Nintendo, and that threat has already overtaken familiar territory, such as Princess Peach's castle. Can she call some sort of what? Hang on, I'm gonna send Princess Peach home security. All right.
Ring.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Do you have Xfinity? Like, they'll bundle that shit in, like Simply Safe, like something. Somebody tell Peach about Simply Safe. I swear, you can get $10 off if you use the promo code anything at checkout. But anyhow,
the promo code Princess Peach.
The trailer opens with an Origami Peach threatening Mario by demanding that he fold himself as a sign of respect. When Mario refuses, she throws him down a pit. All right. But this game doesn't just have a new enemy. Mario will also have a new partner named Olivia. She is a good piece of origami. And here I thought all origami was evil. All right, I'm done reading.
Yeah, no, the article is stupid as hell. But let me tell you, the game... So... I know that Paper Mario is not your thing. I know you're not like super huge on the Nintendo. Mm-hmm. Have you played any of the Paper Mario?
I played the one for...
Was it the original on the N64?
Yeah, I played that one.
That one's brilliant.
It was really good, yeah.
I'd say that, I mean, it was the first, and I'd say, I don't know.
Like, okay, I'm not a Nintendo person. But I've played some Nintendo things. I don't hate everything Nintendo, but
no. It's Paper Mario is like they use the paper thing to allow you to like introduce ideas that, how would you say,
cool gameplay ideas.
Yeah, it's not really gimmicky. Like when you'd first see it, you'd be like, it's just like this super gimmicky idea. But no, they use really creative, innovative ways of game exploration with the paper dynamic. Like you can fold yourself into an airplane and float yourself across the screen.
Yeah, what's that Zelda game where like you could like
where you could go flat?
Where you could go flat against walls.
A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, I think that was it. Like that's one thing I have to give Nintendo credit for a lot is like anytime they introduce a new thing into a game, it's not just a stylistic choice. They usually find a way to work it out to be different and gameplay oriented, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing about this game that's really
I had to play with it. It's textured.
Oh yeah, I know.
I don't know.
The thing about this game is that no one knew it was happening. This literally dropped. No one heard about it until this week, and now it's coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like it was. They kept this
it's
freaking quiet, and you were talking
2 months
about,
from now.
Yeah, you were talking about how Nintendo 2 months, 1 month.
Well,
it's June,
July
right?
11th, July 17th.
Oh, it is 2 months.
So
but even still, you're
Yeah.
talking about a game that's probably been in development since like the Switch came out.
Well, right, and I think this is just another. I think this is like another example. Like we were talking about this on Wednesday, about how, like Bethesda showed off a trailer for Starfield and a trailer for Elder Scrolls 6, and then the last. I think like last week they came out and said like those games are still really far off. Like you're not
Like
going to get
years.
Elder Scrolls. And it's like, okay, then why did you come out and show a cinematic trailer of mountains? And that's it. And it was just like, here's the name of the next game, which is obvious to anybody that's played any Elder Scrolls game because they're all numbered. Like,
Well, I think it's just a further example of Nintendo's secrecy. We were just talking about that at the start of the show. I mean, Nintendo is famously like they are famously good at keeping things under wraps.
it's just like, I know that they're like companies love to build hype, and I get it. But it's at a certain point, like, I don't know what makes me more hyped than something like this, where they come out and say, oh, here's a surprise new Mario game that comes out in 2 months. Like, how much more hyped can I get than that?
I think one of the things that I've never understood is a lot of companies seem to want to try to keep people hyped for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years.
For
it's
multiple years. Like, look at Cyberpunk.
It doesn't make any sense. No one stays hyped for that long.
Well, the longer that you have that game out in the wild, the more chance there is for like The Last of Us, where all this stuff can come out about the game company and all these leaks can happen and stuff. If they announced The Last of Us 6 months ago, like, I think that there would be less negativity surrounding it, I guess. I don't know. It's when something's been boiling so long, and when we were talking about Ghost of Tsushima before this trailer dropped, and it's like, why have you showed so little of this game?
Maybe they were trying their best to keep it quiet.
I guess. I don't know.
Maybe they were. Maybe they were trying to pull the Nintendo, keep it quiet so that we don't have to fight the hype machine.
Yeah, but it's just so weird because like it's from the same company that's been telling us about The Last of Us for 4 years. So like it's bizarre. Like they're willing to draw out the hype machine for The Last of Us, but then
because they're trying to ride the back of a huge success.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. It's just strange to me. The whole nature of hype is just bizarre to me.
We touched on this one a little bit earlier, and we're just going to jump ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
This one, I watched this one earlier in the week. I think I watched this Thursday. Oh. PS5 Unreal Engine 5 tech demo. Oh, this isn't actually an article. This is just the video. So maybe you'll just have to play a couple minutes of this.
Oh, crap. Okay, yeah.
Do you have? Okay. So there was this a state of play or what was this?
This was just it just came out from Epic. Like Epic just released this. This wasn't it was shot on a PS5.
Yep. Running Unreal Engine 5.
They talked a bunch about PS5 in the interviews after this was shown, but this was just Epic showing the Unreal Engine on a PS5.
This is by Matt Kim, the guy who can't decide his name. Today, Epic Games revealed its next gen. That's not nice. It's next gen game engine, Unreal Engine 5. To showcase the power of its new engine, Epic revealed a brand new, fully playable tech demo that's running on PlayStation 5 in real time. IGN asked what advancements are in the PS5 that allows for Unreal Engine 5 to function at this high of a level on the console. Epic founder and CEO Tim Sweeney explained that it was the system storage advancements. Sony hardware architect Mark Cerny revealed earlier this year that makes the next-gen Sony console a powerhouse. So, let me think. I think, first of all, Sony has a massive, massive increase in graphics performance compared to previous generations. But, I guess we get that every generation, Sweeney joked. But Sony's made another breakthrough that in many ways is more fundamental, which is a multi-order magnitude increase in storage bandwidth and reduction in storage latency, that is huge. As revealed back in March in a digital deep dive on the PS5 hosted by Sony architect Mark Cerny, Sony revealed its custom solid-state drive that targets at least 5 gigabyte per second. Holy crap. 5 gigabytes per second bandwidth?
Yeah. Well,
wow.
That's they're hoping to get up to 9 gigabytes per second.
That's insane.
Yeah, so what they went over in that whole thing.
Yeah. Can I just
go ahead.
I've heard a lot of people saying that they want to see this game as an actual as an actual game. I disagree. I thought the part it didn't look like anything that you could actually play. There was no real substance to it, and at the end, where she gets out of the cave and she's just like, "Oh, there's a portal way out there. I'm just gonna fly to it." I was like, that ruined the whole thing for me.
Really?
Yeah, it looked so dumb. I'm just gonna fly over to that.
Well, yeah, it's definitely not supposed to be a game. It's supposed to be like a demo.
Yeah, as far as how it looked amazing. It looked so good, but that would be unplayable garbage if I could see a portal 3 miles away and I can just fly to it in a video game. I mean, that's dumb.
That part was cool because they showed off how quickly, how fast you could move across massive space and how much stuff could be going on around.
And still be loaded
and still be loaded, and that's kind of what they're getting at, I think, with this with those because really fast SSDs.
It was cool because you didn't see things popping in.
Yeah,
if you were doing that in my favorite Horizon, you were flying through the landscape, things would just be popping in,
right,
left and right.
Well, and that's they did that recently. You know that game Star Citizen?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
So that game was announced so long ago, and they still have they're putting out playable builds of it, but it's still not anywhere close to being ready. But I watched a Digital Foundry video on it, and basically they went through and they showed that what they're trying to do, the game is so massive, and the textures are so detailed, and everything that they're trying to do is so detailed that they tried to play it on a really powerful PC with a hard drive, and it was basically unplayable because you couldn't load in the assets fast enough.
Oh man.
So if this is where we're going, where they're going to have these massive worlds with 8K textures and all this kind of stuff, the storage solution is going to be really important beyond just I have to wait a little bit extra for this game to load in. It's not just that. It's no, actually, so much of your game is being streamed from the hard drive now, as opposed to just being one big load and then it's done, and then you just play the level or something like that. With these open world games, that those SSD speeds are going to be hugely important, and that's one of the big differences between Series X and PS4 or PS5 is that the storage solution is supposed to be faster in the PS5.
Could that be why when you watch the demo they run the PS5 next to, they show 5 teraflops on the PS5 next to the 12 teraflops on the
I think
Xbox?
It's 9.5 versus 12. Yeah,
whatever. Anyway, and the PS5 still comes out looking better. If you ask me, in my personal opinion, the PS5 still comes out looking better. That's probably why.
See, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like this is all just conjecture until we actually get our hands on.
Fair enough.
On this stuff, but I thought the tech demo was really impressive because like they showed like these massive amounts of detail, and the big thing that they showed was that you can basically go find these mega scans that they use for like film quality assets and just drop them into this thing, and the engine's just going to recognize them and be able to use them versus like what we have now, which is like you have to like make different levels of quality of these textures for like how far away they are off in the distance, so that like when you're far away from something that's off in the distance, then they have the low resolution texture, and then it switches them out when you get closer and stuff. Like I don't know, it's just going to be really interesting to see how close these actual next gen games get to this tech demo.
One of the things that they were talking about was how quickly it can draw triangles and how many it can draw.
Yeah,
how fast it's
many billions of them basically.
Yeah. Just insane. I think that one's well worth a watch. It's only like 3 minutes. Definitely. What's the name of the article? Because I think if you're interested, you should definitely check it out. PS5 SSD is far ahead of high-end PCs. Epic Games CEO says that's on IGN. And you'll find a link to the video in that article. Just Google Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, go watch it because I think it's very interesting to see
it's 3 minutes.
What they're targeting for next gen versus like what we can expect. I think I don't know
if that doesn't blow your mind. I mean,
I don't know how long it's going to be before we see what was in that demo actually in games. But if I can look forward to seeing that at any time in the next console life cycle, I'll be pretty stoked.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And it looked fathoms better than anything that we've seen for like that stupid third party reveal for Xbox. It looks so much better than anything that they showed by a mile. And like, granted, Unreal Engine is a third party engine. It's going to be used across all platforms. So it's not just a Sony exclusive thing, but it's interesting for them to show.
They were talking about how it was going to work on the PS5 pretty much exclusively.
Yeah. It was a big marketing push it was a big marketing win for PS5, I think, where they previously had kind of been underwhelmed, basically. Like when he talked in the article, they talked about that previous Mark Cerny thing where he came out and talked about the SSD, and it was like very boring and dry and stuff like that. And this
they need to find like Cerny. Okay. You got to find someone who can sell these things.
Yeah.
Way better.
I think Phil Spencer's a much better salesman of the Xbox.
You need someone who's actually excited about this stuff.
Yeah.
To talk about it, because
it's very telling to me that like the most exciting marketing that I've heard about the PS5 up till now is from some guy that runs the Epic Game Store and like makes
Reggie Fils-Aimé with Nintendo. Like, I used to love watching all of his press conferences because he was the president of Nintendo of America, and he would get out there and he was as excited about the games that were coming out as anybody else. And if he wasn't, he at least looked like it. You know, he really sold his stuff. Okay.
Did you know that Phil Zame is joining a podcast?
I didn't. I did know that he's now running GameStop. Yeah. Really? Yeah, they hired him on at GameStop to try to fix up their really bad rap.
I gotta look this up real quick.
Oh yeah, you can read about it. You should.
Oh yeah, he's part of the board of directors now.
Yeah. Huh. Read it off for the people.
Nintendo of America's former president and taker of names is joining GameStop's board of directors. The huge gaming retail company announced today that Reggie Fils-Aimé is joining its board to help turn the company around. Man, that's so that was back in March. Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's a gargantuan task ahead of him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if anyone can do it, it'll be Reggie.
Okay.
So
So we're going to end off the show with my favorite bit of news, which is the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
So this was my favorite bit of news
until Paper Mario.
Until Paper Mario, but yeah, go ahead.
So the announcement of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake reboot on May 12th kicked off Summer Games Fest on a strong note and is bringing the Tony Hawk skateboarding game series out of a hiatus brought on by several subpar games. It's a highly anticipated remaster, but a lot of questions still remain around the project. So basically it's just going to be a remake of Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
So these got spoiled because what band was it that like leaked out that their album was gonna be on?
I forget who it was.
They were like, "Oh yeah, our stuff's on the new Tony Hawk," and everyone was like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about, Tony Hawk?" Huh?
Okay, so this is coming out September 4th, 2020. Which is cool because this is around, I guess, when the old Tony Hawks used to be released. They were usually in like September. You'll be able to play on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Awesome.
On PC, it'll be an Epic Game Store exclusive on launch. But that says just at launch, so I'm sure it'll come to Steam at some point. And then so there's a track list. An official track list hasn't been unveiled by Victor. Okay. So Neversoft used to be the developer, right? You remember Neversoft?
Yes.
So they were the developer, but now Vicarious Visions is taking over. And they developed the Guitar Hero series.
Right.
Or some of the Guitar Hero games. And so they're gonna have a lot of the old songs coming back. But I guess there's a few that aren't gonna make it. So an official track list hasn't been unveiled by Vicarious Visions or Activision yet, but the game's reveal trailer did confirm that the following songs from the original have made it into Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Blood Brother by Papa Roach, Guerrilla Radio by Rage Against the Machine, Jerry Was a Race Car Driver by Primus, thank God, May 16th by Lagwagon, No Cigar by Millencolin, Pin the Tail on the Donkey by Naughty by Nature, Police Truck by Dead Kennedys, Superman by Goldfinger, yes, dude. When Worlds Collide by Power Man 5000, and You by Bad Religion.
That Power When Worlds Collide. That's like an absolute classic.
That's an OG classic. The rights to music licenses are one of the biggest obstacles in gaming when it comes to remastering or bringing games to new platforms several years after release. Putting together a track list for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is probably a tall task, but a necessary one when you consider how pivotal the soundtracks are to each game. Oh, sorry, before I get too far ahead, this is a article from Inverse. I don't see an author credited for it, though, but this is from Inverse. So what skaters are in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2? The press release accompanying Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 gave a taste of the roster of real skaters that will be available when the game launches in September. So Tony Hawk, Bucky Lassick, Steve Caballero, Jeff Raleigh, Andrew
Caballero.
Yeah, dude, he was the man. Andrew Reynolds, Alessa Steamer, Chad Muska, Eric Caston, Rodney Mullen, Rune Glifberg, Kareem Campbell. Kareem Campbell was my dude.
Yes.
I played Kareem Campbell in pretty much exclusively in Tony Hawk 1.
How dare you just like read past Rodney Mullen so casually, though? Mullen's the guy.
Rodney Mullen, Rune Glifberg, Kareem Campbell, Jamie Thomas, and Bob Burnquist.
Okay. Every single one of those names is like
a legend.
Yes.
Skate legend.
Yes.
Like the track list, it's safe to assume that more skaters from the originals will be confirmed over time. That said, it remains to be seen if classics like Spider-Man will make it into the... Oh, yeah, because they had the Spider-Man in that.
Yes.
I forgot all about that.
I would love it. Like my ultimate dream with this podcast, like I'm serious, my absolute ultimate dream with this podcast is one day we'll have like Mullen like sit with us and like read the news with us.
Oh man. That's more you. I was never a skater guy. Other than obviously the Tony Hawk games, but
basically not every single one, but I'd say probably at least 90%, if not more, like 95% of all modern day street skating moves, we'll say, Mullen invented them. I mean, point blank. Like he invented them. They all came out of his head.
Really?
So
We'll have to watch like a compilation video.
Mullen is the freaking man.
So I guess that's it for today's episode. I
went off and like
It's
in my
okay.
own little world there.
It's okay. You're allowed to nerd out on your skating stuff.
There
was
used
a
to
lot of
love,
Joe nerding out today. It was great. You got Paper Mario. You got to talk Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, I got to talk about the universe
RoboCop.
ever like cyclically collapsing and expanding.
Half man, half machine. All police officer. And Ghost of Tsushima. So
Yeah, I'm totally nerding out today.
it was a news packed episode today.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to nerd
Okay.
out with me on stream over GTA 5.
Okay, if you've stuck with us to this point, I'm going to look at our timer real fast. Okay, you have to remember there's like 10, 20 minutes on the front of that are going to get cut.
Yeah.
So if you've stuck with us to this point, Wednesday I had a thing and I want to bring it back for the end of this.
Okay.
So I was driving here Wednesday and The Darkness came on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I was totally jamming out. And I saw The Darkness live at the Chameleon Club. I don't remember what year that was. I want to say it was like 2012. Can't confirm. But it was probably one of the best shows that I have ever seen. It was so phenomenal, and I just wanted to talk to you about what was the best show you've ever seen live.
So, the best show I've ever seen live, from a lineup standpoint, would probably be the last Slayer tour that came through, which I just have to look it up because I can't. I tried to recall. Final Slayer tour lineup. Okay.
Super metal.
Okay, so we got Lamb of God, Anthrax, Behemoth, and Testament. Those were the bands that were with with Slayer when I went to see them, and that was probably like the craziest collection of
Oh, yeah.
of talent that I've seen.
I thought you said something about Anthrax being in there.
Yeah,
Did you
Anthrax.
say- You
Yeah.
did say? Okay, yeah.
So that was probably like the craziest lineup that I've ever seen. Although I saw a couple Queens of the Stone Age shows under the influences of some pretty cool substances, which were amazing in their own right for those reasons. I remember we drove up to Brooklyn to see Queens in New York, and it was in the middle of like a blizzard, basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was just nothing. Like we had to walk to the Barclay Center from our hotel, and there was every street corner was just like a lake, like there was just nothing but slush and water. So you had to like wade through this shit. And by the time we got to the venue, my shoes and pants were just soaked through, and it was freezing. But it was an amazing show.
See, this is sounding to me like I described my experience in New York, and you were like, that didn't sound like fun at all. That's what that's sounding like to me.
Yeah, no, it wasn't really that fun, but the show was really good. But and unlike walking earlier in the day, walking around New York was cool.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of like hung out in the hotel for a long time. And then throughout the day, the weather just got worse and worse and worse. And so by the time we went back out again, it was just complete trash. But I would say that Slayer show, I mean, it was an outdoor show. It was like a festival ground, basically. And it was just like really long. And there was like Lamb of God put on like one of the better metal shows that I think possibly one of the best metal sets that I've ever seen. And this is very much like, if you're not into this kind of music, you're not going to.
No, well,
You're gonna
I
think
mean,
I'm full of it. But
okay. If you're going to see a metal show live and you're not into metal, I mean, that just doesn't make any freaking sense. So, I mean, if that's what you're into, that sounds like the most amazing show ever.
Yeah, no,
But
it was fantastic.
so my story was, I had to bring this back up because I thought it was such a cool thing to bring up, because we're all about the things that we love.
Mm-hmm.
So, my two best shows, I was alluding to my trip to New York. I went to Albany, New York to see AFI, and this was in 2006, and they played at was it the Albany State Armory or something? I can't remember the name of the venue. Anyway, I've never been to an outdoor show, so I'm kind of jealous of you there.
Mm-hmm.
Like every show I've been to has been an indoor dealie.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to this show, and I was so hyped to see this show that I forgot to drink. Like, I forgot human beings have to drink fluids. For days.
Mm-hmm.
I get to the show and I start feeling bad immediately, like with the very first song that comes on, with the opening acts. You know, loud boom boom, you know, the speakers. Immediately I got a headache, and it got progressively worse as the acts went on, and I had one of the security ladies was convinced that I was on drugs, and I kept telling her, no, I don't know what's wrong, I just have a headache. And she's like,
I'm not on meth, I just have all the symptoms of being on meth. I'm sorry.
This lady was convinced I was stoned out of my mind. And so ultimately she offered me a bottle of water. I drank the bottle of water, and right before AFI was set to go on stage, I was like, I can't handle anymore. Like, I was physically ill. My headache was so strong. So I was like, okay, I hailed a taxi, went back to my hotel room, passed out on the tile floor in the bathroom, and woke up the next morning, and probably the only reason I survived was because this lady forced me to drink a bottle of water.
A single bottle of water. That got you through the whole thing.
And so I actually missed AFI going on stage, which was like, I was obsessed with them when I was 18, which was 2006. So that was like the biggest heartbreak. And so you're probably like, well, how is this your favorite show ever? And that was because I wish I could name a single one of the people that opened, but it was every single one of them were brilliant. It was such a fantastic show, just even to just the opening acts.
I don't know why, but your story just reminded me of this video that I saw of this little girl, and she's sitting there with her brothers, and they're all sitting down for a tea party, and she brings them all tea, and they're just like sitting there, you know, they're being all cute and drinking the tea or whatever, and then it shows her go and leave the room, and then she walks into the bathroom and she's filling up the tea from the toilet for her brothers. So that's just what I imagined was like, you just,
where did that come from?
I imagine you just passing out on that bathroom floor
and just like sticking my head in the toilet.
I don't know. just like, oh my god, I just need water so bad. It's not so bad if you go on the upper deck. That's all I'm saying. Just drink from the upper deck, not the bowl.
Just moving on. The final bit of that particular story is that I went downstairs into the bus station terminal. I'm trying to remember how that went. Like, I want to say the hotel I was in, the downstairs was where the bus actually came to pick everybody up. I don't know. I'm a bit fuzzy. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I remember I went down. I was like, I'll grab some Starbucks, because there was a Starbucks in the terminal for the buses. And I went, and I was an hour ahead. So I was like, I got plenty of time. I can drink some Starbucks. I can get over this freaking non-existent hangover.
Yeah.
And when I got down there, I ordered my Starbucks, and I turned around and hear the bus is boarding an hour early. And if I would not have gotten down there at that time, I would have been screwed. I'd have been stuck in Albany.
Yeah, but then you would have missed having like the worst. Oh no, wait, this was after you had that.
Yeah, that was after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that could have been like the worst experience in my life.
But this was like it could have been a better experience, but like it was like a formative experience for you, Joe.
No, it's one of those things where the experience in itself, if anyone else, there was something about it that made it incredible. And I think it was that I was 18 and I was my own person. I could go and explore and I could do what I wanted, and it didn't matter when I came home or whatever.
Right.
It wouldn't have mattered if I was stuck in Albany for a month. You know, I mean, that wasn't going to happen, but I'm just saying I was 18. I was my own person, and it was the freedom. And so the whole show probably wasn't as amazing as I make it out in my head.
It was a taste of freedom for you.
Yeah. It was cool. Incredible.
That's awesome.
But all of that leads to me saying this, and that is, I saw the darkness. I know that's how I started the whole thing off. In the Chameleon Club, I want to say it was 2012. It was the best show I have ever been to. The Chameleon Club.
Yeah, I haven't been, but I mean, you had described it to me.
The darkness.
Yeah.
The lead singer, at one point, I mean, we saw the Hazel Eye. They did Hazel Eyes. I Believe in a Thing Called Love. What was the?
Oh, the one that I.
Yeah.
Black Shuck.
I want to say that they did that, but I can't say for sure.
Okay.
But in any case, so much energy. We were so hyped. It was and the Chameleon Club is basically 3 floors, and it's hollow through the top through 2 floors, so it's just a balcony over top. And at one point, the lead singer climbs up the pillar leading to the top floor, to the 3rd floor, and we were standing like right there looking over, and right as he was about to get to the top floor, security like swarmed around to grab him up, and he just dove down into the group.
I think
into
this
the
is
crowd.
the one where you said like this is the one where he was the show where he was like, I've been sober for like 3 days.
Yeah, he's like, I've been sober, woo, and everybody is like cheering, and I'm like, if this is
You're
this
like, are
guy
you
sober?
sure?
Yeah, are you
I don't know.
sure?
I don't know if you are actually, guy.
And and there was someone who tried to get on stage. I forgot about this when we were talking about it before. There was somebody who was trying to get on stage, and I don't remember the whole everything that happened, but I remember they like pulled him out of the back and like basically like threw him in the alley.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I thought you meant like they pulled him to the back of the stage and then just rushed him out and threw him away.
No, the way everything is arranged, okay, basically Chameleon Club is in the alley, you know, the where you get in, but there's the door off on stage right, okay? So as you're looking at it, it's off on the left. There's an exit right over there. They just like ripped him off the stage and threw him outside.
Appropriately brutal.
It was awesome. The whole show was amazing. It had everything. It had girls randomly trying to dance with me as I was just going to the bathroom.
Like while you were pissing, they were just like, "Hey, buddy."
Well, no, it was like on the way there, I had girls like, "I'm gonna dance with you," and I'm like, "I'm just trying to get through," but okay.
Yeah.
It was a good show. It was fantastic.
I should have said that my favorite show was the one that I don't remember, which was another one of those ones where I was on some questionable things. And then it was at Stage AE, and I went to go see...
Which one was that? I don't remember.
What do you mean? Oh. Anyhow, thanks for joining us today. And we hope you enjoyed it. If you have any, thoughts that you'd like to share as far as maybe some of your favorite shows that you've seen, feel free to leave us a comment. See which one of us you're going to take in that bet. If you think you're on Team Joe or Team Evan in terms of The Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima reviewing better, let us know what you think. And really, if you have any feedback that you'd like to give us, feel free to contact us at nonsensorypod@gmail.com or any of our social medias. Or right here on YouTube.
By now, you know how to find us.
Yeah, and if you don't, you can find us everything that you need to in our description. So,
if I can leave with one more thing,
Just
tell us about your favorite beer. Tell us about
it. Yeah, if you've
because
got a beer that you think that we should try, and maybe we'll, if you can recommend us a beer, and then we can get our hands on it, then maybe we'll do like a mini review of it on the show where we break into it for the first time.
Dude, who's your buddy? The one that's into the beer,
Ben.
the hair. Matt?
Ben.
Yeah, we'll bring Ben. Ben's a beer aficionado. We'll bring him on and we'll do a special episode.
Yeah, that'll be real snobby about it.
That's fine. That's fine.
Like
It'll
he'll
be
have
great.
something to talk about it, but it will never be he'll never be blown away like we would be by a good beer because he's had so many good beers.
That's exactly why we need to bring him on.
He'll be the good balance. He'll be like, actually, guys,
this is awful. You have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Peace. Be easy.